not so white here, look. Bad example. Ignore sweater dog people. A tote bag full of kale. You're killing me, lady. Okay, maybe this neighborhood is mostly completely insufferably white, but that's just the way things are here.
That's the way things are, and that's no accident. But why is that? First, let's begin to understand, what does gentrification and redlining even mean? Take this monopoly board, for example. Let's say this monopoly board is a real county with lots of real estate, some valued at far more than others because of prime locations. What if I said on the right side, only a specific group of people had the right to purchase and rent the best properties, and on the left side, the undesirable parts of the county were designated to minority groups? That is essentially what redlining is, which is still very prevalent. The reason that this is able to take place is because of racial covenants. Let's get a better understanding using this map. This here is the inequality map of San Francisco. The colors indicate residential areas. Here in green, we observe the best parts of the city, and outlined in red are the hazardous residential areas. What the key tells us is exactly what this means. Paying attention to the residential area descriptions in terms of average income and demographic, the largest populations of the red line districts are Black and Latino groups, with the median income being anywhere from 36 to 53,000. Compare that to the wealthier districts in predominantly white areas, where the median income shoots up about to $136,000. That is the physical definition of redlining and what it means. But what about gentrification? Take a look at this clip from the 1991 movie Boys in the Hood.
I'm talking about the message, what it stands for. It's called gentrification. It's what happens when the property value of a certain area is brought down. Huh? You listening?
Yeah.
They bring the property value down. They can buy the land at a lower price. Then they move all the people out, raise the property value, and sell it at a profit.
Something you might think to yourself is, why is this important if it's your first time hearing about it? Well, actually, this issue is a lot closer than you think. Where? Canal San Rafael, right here in Marin County.
We're here in front of the Canal Alliance. Last night, I had the privilege of speaking on the phone with Senior Policy Manager here at Canal Alliance, Carly Finkel. She's responsible for policy and civic engagement here at Canal Alliance. I want to highlight some important information that she brought to my attention. My job consists of trying to call to action tenant protection laws and try to prevent illegal rent hikes and evictions, she says. What this means is that the statewide rent control affects most renters, but in the Canal, for example, most rental units are covered by the state rent cap, which is now almost 10%. But when landlords illegally raise the rent more than 10% per year, that's when we are able to step in and reach out with the legal aid of Marin and work closely with them so we can contact the landlord and protect the tenants. This ongoing issue is most prevalent in 400 Street Canal. 400 Canal was recently bought by a corporate owner, and the current residents were sent illegal eviction notices. We had many tenants coming to Canal Alliance. We worked on passing a policy for Canal that said, if you're going to try to evict somebody to renovate the apartment and bring back it up to market rate, the tenants must be compensated fairly for their relocation. Unfortunately, existing laws around tenant protections have been broken. There are those instances we can help them and help tenants assert their rights, but the reality is those protections are nowhere near strong enough, and what we see is landlords and corporate owners taking advantage and looking for profit. I think the effect of those decisions at 400 Canal for sure was to make a lot of people feel targeted and that they were actively being pushed out.
Brand new purchases of buildings have left many unemployed. Canal is what's known as an opportunity zone. That's a federal designation where government identified it as under-resourced, under-invested community. In trying to spur economic growth, they offered developers and corporate buyers a chance to invest in the community and get a high return on investment. Purchasing a large apartment building in 400 Canal is considered an eligible investment, where one gets tax write-offs and other benefits. That kind of behavior, which is actively encouraged by federal policy and really does incentivize gentrification. Because current residents who live and work there not only receive none of the benefits, but are negatively impacted. Protections in Centerville are not strong enough to prevent those kinds of economic forces from coming in and displacing a lot of people in the neighborhood. Our goal is to tackle these long-standing issues to prevent those kinds of predatory evictions. We want a rent cap so that rents can't be raised more than 10% every year. And if we really want to address the issue like the current living conditions and housing being affordable through strong policies, the most important first step for Canal Alliance is to shift the pattern of ownership within the community. Rather than apartment buildings being owned by private equity firms based in New York who are not interested in creating affordable housing, we want rent affordable housing for residents who have more community based models of ownership rather than purely profit incentivized corporate landlords, which there are a lot we're seeing within the community. Even community based on profits with entities that are more accountable to the well being of residents rather than their own pocketbooks, these are all critical components for positive change.